So, my dad has opted. He had an appointment coming up this next Thursday. You know, they got to do a skin graft and radiation. They got to let the thing heal up first, the skin, because there's a gaping hole right here. He's shoving a tissue in there. It's dripping. The cancer's growing out of control. Even with me and my wife trying to do our own stuff with him. It's some kind of spiral something cancer. It's a form of another cancer, but it's really fast moving. It's growing out of control. It's like we're trying to put a raging fire out with with a squirt gun. It's kind of how my wife put it. She's like, if we could have just started this sooner, And anyway, so I just asked him today, hey, you all right? He left our place early in the morning to go to his place because he said he's going to bounce around, bring some stuff from there over here. But Evan yesterday was like, hey, when you wake up, text me or whatever. I'll come over and, come over, bring him some food and cook some food, since he's with us. But he just kind of didn't do that and just got in his car and left with his dog and went to his house. And, all right, we don't want to sit there and call, hey, why'd you leave? Why'd you, but, most of the day went by and I'm like, she's like, yeah, maybe we should check in on your dad. Just see if he's, yeah, all right, good idea. Hey, Dad, you doing all right? Yep. Yeah, he calls me. Look, yeah, I'm at the house, me and the dog. I just want to be here right now, alone with my dog, today. And I've been seeing your kids, the grandkids, the last several days. It's been great. He goes, but I'm just going to tell you, I've canceled all my appointments. I'm not doing anything else. I'm done. And I said, do you want us to stop what we're doing too? He goes, yeah. Okay. He goes, I got to call, get hospice set up. That's what I'm going to be doing. He goes, like last night, the pain, the burning, it's just, he goes, and now my left eye, the one that, the cancer got into anyways, he's like, it's getting hard. I'm getting blurry vision. I'm starting to get double vision out of that eye. He goes, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to try to let them cut on me, burn me, radiate me, take my eye out. He goes, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to live like that. And I'm going to get hospice set up, and because they can give you the proper, pain management. That's kind of what they do apparently, right? So, the pain pills that he goes, I took 4 last night. He goes, it didn't really do anything. He goes, I'm going, I'm fading out and I don't want to be in pain. And, so I'm going to go for hospice. Now, I don't think he wants to go to them. I think he wants them to come to him, if I had to guess, from my understanding. I'll know more when he updates me. But he's like, I'm not telling your sister right now. I go, well, she's going to find out when you don't go to your appointment that I was supposed to take you to on Thursday. He goes, no, she'll find out Monday because there was something else that she'll know. And I go, another appointment or something. So that he's not going to. So he goes, she'll find out Monday. He goes, I don't want to hear her mouth right now. I don't want to hear her. She's going to end up pissing me off and getting me mad, about my decision. I don't want to hear her right now. And I was like, yeah, that's my sister. Yep. I get it, Dad. I'm with you. Me and Evelyn are right here listening. She's right next to me. Like we're with you. We're here for you. And just whatever decision you're making, you're like, I get it. I'm with you. Dad, what do you want to do? What do you want? Okay, I support that. You ready to die? I support it. You're not somebody else. You're not in that person's body. My sister is not in his body. My sister doesn't feel and know what he's going through. You know, I'm sure you can tell her. And she goes, oh, I understand, but do you really? If you did, you would just let him go. But he said to me, though, he goes, I will say your sister last week she might be kind of getting it finally, because it's something she said to me, but, right now, I don't want to call her. I want to deal with this with her right now, trying to convince me otherwise or anything else. I just, but he's also saying she might not do that. He's just not real sure. But how it's been so far is that's what she does, like anybody, mostly females seem to do this. Again, they're the caregivers, the caring ones, the emotional ones for the most part, right? But my wife is a realist, right? And she's like, I'm not going to make your dad do anything he doesn't want to do. And, as long as he's willing to let me give him the supplements and things that I want to give him, I'll do it. But if he says, oh, I'll do those, but I don't want to do that anymore, I'm not going to. And she goes, we were putting that stuff on his, his growths. And she said he didn't want me to last night, so I didn't. So the next day, which was actually last night, I was like, Dad, let me just put some of this on you. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to affect you in any way. Just, yeah, all right, go ahead. So I put it on him. But again, it's like we're trying to put a raging fire out, like a forest fire with a squirt gun, at this point. Like, it's just, and I talked to Woo Woo Dude, and that's what he told me a couple days ago. He goes, look, try as you might. He goes, I know the intention's there and everything. He goes, what I'm seeing right now is, it's too bad. It's extremely aggressive. There's like no stopping it is what I'm understanding. Like, that's kind of what it's looking like. That thing just popped up out of nowhere right after the surgery. And again, it's spreading in his eye. Once you cut into stuff like that, cancer, it just goes wild and free. So same with the biopsy. The same crap happens. So anyways, I'm like, man, typically hospice is when somebody's days away from passing, and not weeks to months usually. It's maybe weeks, but I was kind of asking Spirit at night, can you tell me what month he's going to go? Can you give me any, just so I have an idea? And I didn't get any information on that. And maybe they don't want to, just let it happen when it happens. We already gave you the dream. He's going to die peacefully in his sleep. He's been praying, please let me die peacefully in my sleep. That's what I want. I don't want to wake up, And I saw that. I got that easily over a year ago now, I think. And I was okay with it when I got it. My mom texted me in the dream, hey, Joe, just letting you know your dad died peacefully in his sleep last night. End of dream. Done. That quick. And I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm not going to freak out, or I'm not even going to tell him, which I didn't for the longest time until a couple days ago. I finally told him because he mentioned I really want to go to my sleep. And I said, Dad, just so you know, I did have a dream a while back. You died peacefully in your sleep. Oh, that's what I want. You had that dream? Yeah, I did. So, oh, okay. So he's just ready. He feels bad about his dog. Oh, I wonder if Madison's going to take him out like I did and bring him with me and bring him with her. And because my dad took the dang dog with him everywhere. He'd go to freaking Taco Bell, he'd bring his dog there. They'd love to see him in the drive-thru. He'd come in, and he would sometimes go to the grocery store, buy, kids cereal, because some of the people that worked at Taco Bell had kids, and would give them cereal for their kids. And then every time he would come, it was like they would give him free food, and he'd always have a little surprise or, present, so to speak, for them. And they really, they really enjoyed seeing my dad, just stranger. But that was my dad. He loved to talk to people. He's never really mean to anybody, just always wanting to talk to somebody. And just, there's not a lot of people like that these days. Everybody just keeps to themselves, but when you do reach out to someone and talk to them and, hey, here's a gift, here's some cereal for your kids. Oh, who is this guy? How lovely, let's give him some free Taco Bell. The manager's like, yeah, cool, go for it, And then he's like, oh, I'm going to go get one of those Pomodoro pizzas, and I'm going to bring it over to those guys. All right, so he'd go get him a pizza, bring him a pizza, every now and then. Just, that's kind of like my dad, man. That was him, all of the when I grew up in that apartment complex from 5 to 17 years old, like none of my friends' fathers ever came outside under any circumstances to do anything, play with us, sports, anything. My dad did. He'd be like, all-time quarterback, and, he'd just pass the ball. We'd have teams, and he would just be the all-time quarterback. And we'd play baseball, even basketball. Like, those were kind of the three main things we did. And my dad would come out and play with us. My friends thought my dad was so cool. Man, your dad's so cool, man. Joe, your dad's cool, man. And I'm back then, I don't know, the teenage punk bastard myself. I mean, I didn't deny it, but it didn't mean anything to me. Like, it's just my dad, it's just how he is, like, cool, or whatever, But now as a man, grown man, looking back at my dad, that's priceless, man. Looking back going, man, those times, like, I'll never forget those times that he was out there playing with us, doing stuff with us. It was cool. And, I have no regrets. I felt bad about not letting him bring his dog over for a while because the damn thing was pissing on all my furniture and stuff. So then I was like, all right, come over, but your dog needs to like be on the back porch or something. He's pissing on all the furniture on the back porch. Stinking the place up. I'm like, Dad, just leave your dog at home. Like, can't you leave him at home? I mean, he's not going to be hurt if we left for a few hours. No, he'll be fine. And he would come visit us, but it did lessen how many times he would come visit, because he usually would have his dog with him. He's out going to Taco Bell or here or there. He's got a dog with him. Well, it'd be easy to stop by Joe's real quick, Joe and Evelyn's. But I got my dog, and I don't want to bother them, so, so it became some of that, And again, I was reflecting. I told you this in the other video, like, you don't think about these things. How long's your dad going to be around? How long this? How long that? And that's why I was like, Dad, come over, bring the dog. Stay with us, while you're dealing with this. And he did, but he's like, I'm going to be bouncing around back and forth. I stay here for a few days. I'll stay back over there for a day or two. I'm not committing to anything. Yeah, no, cool. I want you to make sure you see my kids, It's the main thing. Like, I'm okay. And of course, I've been seeing them every day too. But just to have my grandkids, I don't want those girls growing up going, remember when Boom Pop was dying and gosh, he came over and we still didn't see him that much. Nope. My kids are seeing him. Emily, Ashley, Nicole, Ian, they're all seeing him. They're spending some time with them. It's great. But he may not be around. I mean, he may not be around long. He's really like, I'm going for hospice. So, he's like, you and Evelyn, you've been really good to me, thank you, Then I'm like, of course, like, but it's like, it's time, and time waits for no one. So I'm just like, what am I missing? What do I need to do? And I felt like maybe I'll just, when I see him next, here soon, I'll just kind of reminisce on what I just told you about. Dad, you remember those times you come out and play with us and sports and da-da-da-da, you take me and Sean or me and Neil or Jason or somebody, we'd go way out to Uncle John's, and you'd let us go over there for the weekend, even if he didn't really want to go that bad. We were just there. Yeah, we loved going to my Uncle John's house, my mom's uncle. He lived he had a little canal in the backyard that led out to the bay, and we'd fish off of his canal. Then we'd go shoot BB guns in the woods and like play Commodore 64 video games. He'd always have new games every time we came, and it was just the greatest time. But some parents, I'm not taking you over. That's an hour drive. My dad and my mom, they would take us. And a couple times, my uncle let us stay in the duplex next to him because he owned both of them at the time. Oh, that was cool. I mean, I was 10, 11 years old. That was just the coolest thing. Me and a couple buddies spending the night in our own place next to my uncle. And in the morning, we go over there and play the video games and go the BB gun shooting and in the woods. And it's just, good memories, man. But I'm just like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Is there anything, And I'm like, no, like, he could die tonight and it's okay. Like, it's good. But I wouldn't mind sitting down and just having those conversations. Remember that little duck when I was 4 years old in California, San Diego at Balboa Park? That damn duck would chase you every time you showed up. It wouldn't mess with nobody, but this damn duck would come chase my dad. He named him Charlie the duck. Funny enough, our dog's name is Charlie. But that duck would chase my dad, and he would run from that damn thing. And as a little 4-year-old, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And he'd go over there and meet a couple of his buddies, John and Eddie, his buddies, and they'd play basketball and stuff while me and my sister would be right there playing in the park or whatever. But, you know, my dad did stuff with us, you know, and always did. Even when we got older, hey, let's go over to Tarpon Springs, let's go over to the Sponge Docks, and we'd go, you know, my wife and kids and stuff. You know, when he was in much better health, we'd go, oh, let's go, my mom, let's go, you know. So anyways, I just, you know, I know a lot of you guys wanting to know what's going on and keep us updated. You know, I get your emails and messages and stuff. I appreciate all the kind words. My dad reads some of y'all stuff too, and he's thinks real highly of you guys. You know, real nice people. So anyways, I just wanted to give you the update while I was driving out here to go get something and heading back home. So I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.